improve it, but fueling your innovation engine gets you to look completely differently. That's the taxi versus Uber, and that's really some of the, you know, 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the future all the time. Real quick example about the difference, I guess, between process improvement. Has anyone been through Terminal 5 in Heathrow? Yeah, lots of us, right? So when that was built, I was pretty excited because I thought, okay, this is going to be a much nicer experience as I transit through London all the time. It's a beautiful terminal, spent $1 gazillion on it. They spent years planning it, and they put together this fabulous shopping mall, you know, that's got the flagship lounge of BA. And for me, it was, oh my goodness, now they have this very snazzy lounge where you can quickly go take a shower, get your act together, and then bang, back on your aircraft and off you go. So the lounge is fantastic. The shower rooms, big, freebie shampoo, Molten Brown, I love it. Anything free, I love. Great towels, you know, time, the whole bit. And then reality. So this wonderful process and this very exciting new kind of a place where you can go and all this investment, and then this happened. I'm a girl. I want to shampoo my hair. Don't ask me why I decided to do that, but that day I decided that's what I'm going to do. So bang, out of the shower, wet hair, and I go to use the hairdryer. Firstly, I can't reach it. It's too high. I'm short without my shoes. And it's joined by a hose. Literally a hose. And then when you take that off the hairdryer, so now I'm like this as opposed to head over and quickly doing this. And then it suddenly does. And I think, oh my God, now I'm stuffed. This is going to be a bad hair day. This is not good. And there's no way out of it. All of the money in the world is not going to do anything for you if that one part in the process breaks down. And people every day have to put up with bad hair days because that's reality. That's what happens. So your multi-million-dollar investment in anything is not worth squat when the bad hair day moment hits. And so that's the kind of distraction that takes you away and takes people away from not just getting their day job done, but actually thinking about what they're going to do differently in the rest of their life at work to be able to generate innovation for you and for the leaders of the organization. So that's the kind of thinking that we have to bring, because it impacts on the 3 building blocks, which is time, money, and ideas. If you are stealing that away from your people, you can't expect them to give you grassroots innovation. And so it's not about process improvement. It's not about process mapping. You can have if you digitize a shitty process, it's still a shitty process. It's just now highly digital. And so, you know, those are the things that you need to think about. So we can't run out and just head in the process improvement field. We have to do something different. And the something different for us is all about aerial mapping. Anyone familiar with that? So aerial mapping for us, and you can tell me if it's similar or different, but aerial mapping for us is really about looking at the much bigger picture. It's about getting people involved, which is the key, but getting everybody involved. We have this great example of a client, insurance company actually in San Francisco. They invested $30 million into a new IT system that they fundamentally couldn't get anybody to use. And they were at that point where they were going to absolutely toss it away. And we said, stop, don't do that. Let's have a think and let's aerial map this. Not let's go and have a look at the process and see where the process is and map the process and then come back and say, oh, it's the process. Let's aerial map what really, everybody who touches this, from the IT guys who designed it to the users, to the suppliers, the customers, the people in the business, that everybody needs to be involved in this. And when you get that kind of an involvement, not only do you get people's fingerprint into the solutions and you get, you know, you really tap into their brain power, but you get to hack the process. And if anybody thinks about the negative side of hacking, what it does is it bypasses all of the, you know better than me, it bypasses all of the normal ways of getting to something, and then you come out the other end with what you want. And so that's really the way that we should fundamentally look at the difference between process improvement versus absolutely hacking the way that you do business to be able to get a completely different lens on it, different people involved, the Uber versus the taxi. It's all about getting all of those different areas of the business. Technology, what are the technology points? Where's the automation points? Where are the bad hair days? What can we remove out of it? What can we fundamentally change to be able to really get grassroots innovation happening? And that's all about crowdsourcing. That's all about getting everybody involved in the business to be able to make a difference and to feel that they're a part of this business and to get their fingerprints, their thumbprints all over it. We'll often, this is actually one of our guys, and this is the guys going out to the local school in Indonesia, because the kids were just such a great absolute mountain of wealth of information on how to actually impact on energy cost, particularly for the grander beyond the gate, you know, for the villages and so on. And so you've got to go to the non-traditional sources as well. You can't just keep with today's normal, the guy who owns the process being the only person who can give you that real different lens to look through. And it's about looking at the here and now, the future, and how it's going to change, and giving you a window into the future, not incremental change alone for today. And that's how we think that you actually bring people to the forefront of the innovation stage. That's how blue oceans happen. That's how you get out in front of your competition and you be something fundamentally different than if you just look through the process improvement lens. So not a pretty slide, but generally organizations will look at the leaning out, they'll look at the procedures, they'll look at aiming for 100% and making sure that you close that gap. And really what you want to add to that is, how do you engage volunteerism? How do you look at the total end-to-end operating model that this process sits within? How do you get to continuous innovation? And then how do you get to that point where you actually want to start talking about Industry 4.0 and the automation side, the AI side? How do you bring all that together, if not by bringing people together to hack the way that you're currently looking at your business? And that's how we got 200 hangar days back a year for what's pretty much one of the premier airlines out there, whom you would think would be able to solve that problem internally themselves with their own people. But it took a different kind of orchestra to bring all the right people around it and wrapping around it to really make a difference and give them those 200 days. And why were those important? Not just to get the aircrafts back in the sky quicker, but to sell the hangar days to other airlines. And that was a big benefit to that organization, not a cost saving, but a revenue generating opportunity. And so that's the kind of things that we would ask you to consider when you're taking a look at how do we get innovation into the lifeblood, into the DNA of our business. I know I'm 5 minutes over time, so I'm going to hold right there and see if there's any questions or comments or anything that anyone would like to make.